Hey, beautiful people. I'm Mila.
Hey y'all, I'm Monika.
And thanks for joining us.
Hey,
Hey.
it's good to hear your voice. How are you doing?
Hey honey, I am aligned and balanced.
Okay, and that is what is perfect for this episode, and of course, this weekend when it airs, it will be, it's been Holy Week, and it's Resurrection Sunday on Sunday, and so our faith is one of the unifying factors, or I guess the foundation of our friendship, and so I am excited for this episode and. All the things that we were going to be discussing today, including road rage. Okay,
Girl.
and I mean, why not? It's Holy Week. Why not have
I
a good
mean,
little testimony service?
okay, it's a good Friday.
It's really, really that's the truth. So, with that in mind, tell me, how was your week? You be out here doing the most. So, how you been?
My week has been it's been good. House sitting, and
Hmm.
I have a dog and a cat,
You got two animals.
Yes, I've been on a schedule. I'm like, ooh, this is almost like kids. Y'all don't get offended. Please don't get offended.
Well,
But
it's
anyways,
funny because those pet parent people won't be offended because they love their animals. Sometimes I think harder than people love their children, but people be really obsessed. But yeah, it's definitely true because I know you've had to play, and your dog that you're watching. Your dog is a little gangster. He try to get you to, or she
yeah,
tries to get you to do the most.
girl, I'm like, no, we walk, we play, but I'm like, about 8 o'clock after I get back from workout, I'm like, ooh, shut it down. It's mm-mm.
You got him with a bedtime. When you told me the funniest thing that you told me about watching the animals this week was that you put them not only put them on a bedtime, but you said you start playing the anti-anxiety, separation anxiety music for them, and putting a little
Oh
lavender
yeah,
on their
the
pillow.
meditations on YouTube. I was like, this is fabulous. Yes, girl, it knocks him out and gets him in a zone.
You said, "Oh yeah," you said you like to hear. That's all I said is very parental. You said you have a little lavender oil drop so that they're sleeping peaceful, or tea
Uh,
tree, something you said, girl. It made me
And I
laugh.
I light the candle.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that's really all you can do is try to do the best you can. And then I know you've been working out and doing all the other good stuff. So it sounds like you really have had a good week.
Yes, yes. No, yeah, no complaints. No complaints. I mean, it could be a little bit warmer. We
Of
we we could
course.
we could see the sun, but
Mhm.
it's
Yeah, but that's
I guess
fine.
April showers bring May flowers.
Mayflower, say it again, and definitely spring is in the air. I mean, you got to get, like you said, water the land to get things to grow, and that is definitely what we're about here is growth. For
Okay.
me, this has definitely been Holy Week. I was doing and that's one of the things I was going to ask you about, are kind of the traditions that people have surrounding Easter as believers. Now, I know I didn't necessarily we grew up with Palm Sunday being Palm Sunday. I don't think I did what necessarily people who are the Catholic faith do, where it's, but we acknowledge that usually the pastor would kind of preach or teach on something related to Palm Sunday. But Easter, or Resurrection Sunday, or Easter, was the kind of the main event. Good Friday was important, but this whole Holy Week concept, and I really have thoroughly enjoyed it. I was doing a kind of a guided Holy Week through this Bible app that I have. It's called the Holy Bible app, and it is wonderful because every day with a devotional, it would have like, oh, this is Spy Wednesday or Holy Wednesday, where Judas is spying out, what's going on with Jesus to betray him,
Mm-hmm.
while Mary is,
Or Ash Wednesday. Mm-hmm.
yeah, if you were of the Catholic
Catholics.
faith, yeah, where you would put the oil where she was kind of preparing him for death by, breaking the oil and being chastised by Judas, and the whole story. And I was like, oh wow. So every day, like Thursday was a particular Thursday. It was the Last Supper, and it was just really really wonderful. It was a different thing that I'm normally used to doing. And so I really do appreciate that. So what about you? Growing up, did you have any like resurrection Sunday traditions, or how was Easter flowing in your household?
I mean, we were younger. We got, Easter baskets,
Hmm.
or, we had Easter dinner. Um, but like my mother's side grew up Baptist, my father's
Hmm.
side grew up Catholic. We went to a Lutheran private school, non-denominational for most of my like adult life, had a touch of Kojic. Like it's just a lot going on. So
So you've been introduced to a lot of Protestant takes on Christianity, along with a hint of Catholicism when you're with your father's people. So okay,
right.
that makes sense, and that's kind of a similar journey. I always went to just Christian non-denominational schools,
Mhm.
but definitely Baptist by family, culture, and tradition, and then of course that's sprinkled with Kojic just because they went hand in hand so much, like in the Central District, like House of Refuge, or everyone knows there's a big Kojic church in the Central District, Powerhouse. People also know it as. That's amazing. And then my grandfather's church, they would fellowship there. And then of course my father's side, him being Southern, like you said, his sisters and things like that, they're Catholic, but he was actually CME and Curry. Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, I was like, it's really interesting. So I definitely got a nice taste of a lot of traditions. But really, the most important thing was, of course, Easter Sunday. Yes, the baskets for Easter and the outfits, but really, it was the celebration of the resurrection of Christ. So that was always something wonderful. And then, of course, the Easter dinner with your family, and, and kind of getting with everyone, and that was a wonderful tradition about that. So that's kind of how I feel. So I don't want to delve
Mhm.
too much right now into Resurrection Sunday, because I'm like, wait, we're going to be talking about the good stuff, and then we're about to get a little bit ratchet. But I do have to talk about some community news, right? Because
Right.
there was a story that came to us, and it had us both in our feelings. And I know you love to say it was triggering, like certain things will just trigger you, or say, it's the whole concept that you can hear about things and not realize what kind of reaction you're going to have based off of your own past experiences. And that really is what happened this week. So last weekend, a young man, Elijah Lewis,
Mhm.
was headed to a monster truck rally. And if you watch the news, I'm sure you've heard about it. If you don't, then you're going to learn about it. And it's crazy
Right.
because the story was given to me by a girlfriend who, worked with the family, knew the family. I mean, works for one of the organizations that he
Stations.
really, yeah, that he
Mhm.
really worked with. So she was very upset. She said, she couldn't believe that this had happened to the young man, because he was only 23. His name was Elijah Lewis. And he was amazing. She said,
Right.
he was an activist. She said every time he was at something for the community, he was talking about the spirit of cooperation and people
Unity.
working together.
Mhm.
Yes. And really moving forward. And so he was gunned down in a road rage incident on Capitol Hill last Saturday. It would have been the first, really, April Fool's Day, truly. And people were
Right.
acting a fool,
Cool.
taking his nephew, who was 9 years old, or who is 9 years old, to see a monster truck rally down at Lumen Stadium. And, I will say this: growing up in growing up in Seattle and everything, Capitol Hill right now is not a great place to drive, just because of the way the parking structure is now
Girl,
weird.
it wasn't a great place to drive 20 plus years ago.
Well, I was used to it then, right? But kind of
Right.
having those weird parking spaces now, kind of
Right.
in the middle, and you have to be careful of the train. They got the trolley tracks. It's just a convoluted, horrible mess. Thank you, gentrification, right? Because people
Mhm.
say they're making things better, and it's really confusing. And I definitely know, and we've talked about it on this show, there's a lot of preferential treatment for bike riders and different things like that in the city. But the cars is who you tax, the gas is who you tax. So I
Right.
feel like you got to still show a little bit of love. I know everybody thinks they want to be green, but I'm going to tell you, we're doing so many other questionable things to the environment, sidebar, that my zero emissions vehicle is not as much of a problem. But these jacked up roads and all this road rage that's floating around here,
I already
People got to
told
do
you the
better.
orca whales got 1.9 billion. But anyways,
I was like, yeah. So I mean, yes. So that's on the environment tip. That's
million
what.
billion don't matter. It's still over.
Yeah. Yes. Thank. And so, we hear about Elijah. We're all struck in a different way. Literally, when you hear that, he's leaning over to protect his nephew. He tries to drive off. He's shot because someone on a lime scooter. So
Some
like
fool.
the rented scooters or whatever was on a scooter, and he rolled up and I guess had a confrontation, and so Elijah was driving off, and the man pulled out a weapon, a gun, and shot into the vehicle at least 3 times, striking the nephew in the leg, and then of course taking Elijah's life. And I was like, what maniac? I mean, if you're on a scooter, is that like your first reaction? Like, let me pull out my backpack and get my gun, or pull out my gun and start shooting up a car? Like, I just want to, I just can't even
Very
fathom.
unnecessary. If anything, I'm like, if someone's gonna sideswipe you on a bike, if I'm riding a bike and I almost get hit by a car, I'm not gonna go after the car and try to shoot it. Like, I'm gonna get the license plate and I'm gonna call the police. Like, that's why you pay taxes.
S- mm,
Like,
that part.
really, dude, you just wanted to be your own vigilante and just start shooting people? Like,
Yes.
the fuck?
Yeah, and it took a long time for to release the name of the actual person who did the murder, which is one of the things where the family had, like, I had the name on on Monday morning when my friend, called and was telling me, and
Right.
I kept watching the news. And I do want to shout out, in case you are living in Seattle, Washington, or Tacoma, Washington, and Monica will tell you about Tacoma, but I'm gonna tell you about Seattle. You can still get the facts. The facts is not dead. And if you are of the community, you know what the facts is. You can even find them online.
I was
But the
gonna say, yeah, you
facts,
can do them online. The Facts
yeah,
newspaper. Hmm.
yes, the facts is not dead. The people know the facts is the black newspaper. You can do Seattle Medium. Seattle Medium is the minority because they cover like Beacon Hill and minority stories.
And they
But
still got their radio channel, the Z Twins.
yes, so you can still, okay, you can find out what's happening in the community. You don't have to be uninformed. You don't have to say, oh,
Right.
well, I didn't know this, or I thought Seattle was just all, well, there's been so much, there's been so much random things going on. You don't think it is the hippie beatnik sweet place that it used to be. But
Mm-mm.
you can find out what is really happening in your community. So shout out to the Medium, because the Seattle Medium had the response from the mayor, Bruce Harrell, on this tragedy. And then, like I said, Cairo 7 was one of the first news stations to actually report the name of the killer. And I think this was really important. Like, I don't think that he should have been able to.
And I like
um,
how you said the killer.
Oh, okay. So it's not questioned. We don't.
Right.
It's not alleged. We
Right.
all know he stayed on the scene. He pulled out a gun and shot up a car with a 23-year-old and a 9-year-old. And I don't want to speculate on why Patrick Francis Cooney was not pictured or identified sooner, but I do give Cairo 7 because King 5 was playing with it. I don't know what Q13 was thinking, but I appreciate them serving equal justice, because I know
Right.
if the killer had looked differently, they would have had before, because they said, oh, some of the other news outlets said, well, he hasn't been formally charged with these.
I'm sorry if you already in jail.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And he
You're
is,
suspect.
and that's the update, because he is still in jail. Okay, I know the next arraignment, or time that he'll be in court, will be for the 19th. He is in jail. The judge set it at a $2 million bail, which I
It's
think is.
probably better that he's in jail right now, because if he's out of jail, I don't I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying he gonna have to watch his back once he get if he's gonna be out in these Seattle streets.
Well, yes, because Elijah was so beloved in the Central District and in
Right.
South Seattle. And I'm talking about South Seattle proper, for people who don't understand or know the city, who think South Seattle is Burien and Tukwila, I
No.
guess, but that's not really. It's always south of the Central District, is what we
Right.
call the South. So, so that. But when I was hearing the story, it was triggering, because I realized how many times I've had road rage incidences, or that have happened to me in Seattle. And it is crazy because all of the road rage incidences I'm thinking of have been done by non-minority people in my neighborhood or in areas that are diverse where I'm like, well, why are you over here acting a fool?
Right.
So Monica, when you heard the story, and like we are having testimony, pretty much testimony Friday. For me, the testimony is God covered me in these situations, and I'll sidebar on one of them that was particularly harrowing and nail biting, and I'm like, what in the heck? um,
Mm-hmm.
but for you, how do you have moments or stories where you've had people have road rage, or did you have road rage as a driver on people?
Um, I'm trying to think. I haven't had anyone like come after me
Hmm.
crazy. Um, no, I got followed when I was in Lacey, but that wasn't road rage. Like I literally had to like call my ex husband at the time. I was like, somebody's following me.
Follow, girl. That was
Like
that was you about to be in somebody's basement or in their trunk. That's something
that.
different.
Yeah, that part. But no, I've had road rage when I was in my younger days.
Oh wait,
Some
so you were the road rager. You were okay. So now we're getting two sides of it because obviously you're not that same person. But I'm just
no,
saying
impatient
okay.
or like side swipe. So one incident, like or somebody's. But okay, so I was reacting to how somebody was driving, and so
Thank you. And I felt like you're
I,
reactionary.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
reactionary. So I was reacting to how somebody was driving, and I remember this was before, like this is when I was under 25. I
Hmm.
used to throw pennies at people on the freeway when I was driving. I know that's so bad. That's
Well,
so
wait,
bad.
because that is hella dangerous. But wait, how did you just like roll down your window, chuck them at them when you were driving fast at
Yes.
60 miles per hour,
Yeah.
like little missiles, like little gun shots?
Yes.
Bing, bing, bing.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you that's Tacoma in you.
Yeah, and then I remember one time actually I was coming to see you, and actually this wasn't under 25. This was probably like several years ago, and I had like a little, I had a little Jetta. They got some get up, right?
Right.
And
This was
somebody
a
like
while ago,
almost,
though. I
yeah,
was like the
somebody,
Jetta. Yeah.
right, somebody almost like ran me off the road, and I was just
Hmm.
furious. So, girl, that Jetta got get up, and I started just, you know, right behind them on their, on their heels. And I was like, let me fall back, let me stop. I think I might have actually called you, but like, girl, somebody always try to kill me on the
Yes.
freeway. But yeah, like you said, I'm reactionary, but
Hmm.
nowadays, girl, I will just pull out my phone and get a high magnified video and
Hmm.
take their license plate number and have it in my phone. You know what I'm saying?
See, I love that. I said, thank God for grace and growth.
Right.
And then don't mess with these T town ladies. I try to tell people. I said some of my funniest girlfriends and like ones that have like that secret hood because you guys will be very together, but then in a minute you be like, don't make me get Tacoma on you, and you don't want to see the
I
Tacoma
mean,
side come
I feel
out.
like I should be a race car driver.
Yeah, no, you do. You had a left foot. I will definitely say one thing about Monica. She know how to get down the road. I'm not, I mean, I guess your cars have always, like you said, you've always had vehicles that promote the need to get up and go and have a little kick to them. So
Right.
I feel you there.
I'm manifesting that Porsche though.
Girl, I know you were. You were already down at the car show. You told us on the episode, honey, enjoying it, testing it out, making
With
sure
my
it's everything.
nephew. That's also
So
triggering because with my nephew, I take him and we will go venture off and we go up to Seattle sometime. And
yes.
so what happened with Elijah is like I could have sideswiped somebody and then
Hmm.
they came up beside of me and then I still do roll down my window sometimes. I look
Yeah.
at people like they done lost their MF mind. You know what I'm saying? Like that can help, that
Yeah.
can happen to anybody. And it's like you had this entitlement, like you just took it in your hands to just like shoot in the car, like you in the military, like dog, like you at war or something. Like really?
On the streets of Seattle, on Capitol Hill. No, you're not in any kind of war. It is the war against driving rage. But I do understand that because your nephew is around the same age as
Right,
Elijah's nephew. Yeah, and that's the thing because I know your event was down at Lumen Stadium, and that's where
right,
they were heading. And that to me, I'm like, oh, like I said, that hit me, that struck me so cold.
right. And
I
I
have
got tinted windows.
Yeah, you do. And that's what, but to me, his didn't look super dark. Because I've
Mine
seen
aren't
some
super
limousine.
dark either.
Yeah, I said I've seen the little bit of tint. And you say side swipe, but officially they're not even saying side swipe. We don't know. They just had some kind of incident. It might have been turned. Maybe he felt like the Camry overtook him a little bit faster, the lime scooter rider.
It
But
doesn't matter. It don't
nonetheless,
give him the
yeah.
right to do what he did, and I hope he gets years,
Justice.
decades.
That's what we're definitely trying to find is justice.
Right.
I definitely, with from this incident, we're not just trying to glorify it, but it is one of those moments where we drive in the city. We understand. We've had moments. It is traumatic to us in so many ways because for me, I, I'm in the city. I've grown up in Seattle, and like I said, I've had three, incidences that come to mind. One was on Capitol Hill, coming
Mm-hmm.
home from work. So at the time I was working downtown, you're driving through it, but it's around 5:30, 6 o'clock, which is really just
Rush
heavy.
hour.
Yeah, but I didn't want to go on the freeway. I know the city. I could,
Right.
do my thing.
We
Go
about them
through Capitol
shortcuts.
Hill. Yep, go through Capitol Hill. Hit pass through the International District or Chinatown or wherever you calling it these days, and then go up to Beacon Hill and then drop down to where I need to the hood. And so I was very okay with that route. But while on Capitol Hill, aggressive man, and I already told you he was non-ethnic, so he was not a person of color, not any of that. He was definitely a privileged person.
Caucasian.
He was so aggressive with it, and I felt. I mean, because he was mad. I mean, it's rush hour traffic. People are gonna go slow. People are gonna get in front of
Right.
you. At this point, I wasn't. I was beside him, so I was like, dude, I don't know why you act like you want to roll down your window and shoot at me, but this car is full of praise, and I just got off of work, so my energy is totally different than whatever BS you're on. And I was like, okay, that's one thing, but to me, the most like stopped my heart, and I had to be like, thank you, God, for covering me. And I was
Mm-hmm.
so mad that I was so young because when I thought about the incident at 30, I would have been like, man, I would have did something totally different. And now when I think
Right.
about that incident, I go, oh, thank you, Jesus, that you just covered me and I was okay. But when they were doing the construction for the light rail, in South Seattle, or so the South End. The South End is only is it was controversial because they weren't going to put it underground. Like as soon as it hits Beacon Hill or downtown or certain areas, they put that underground. But
Mm-hmm.
in South Seattle, they decided to leave it above and let it run over people and get the wiring stolen and be the overall nuisance that it is being
Right.
where it's at. But that was out of my control, and no matter what the community was saying. But so it went because your community is full of new people and people who have been there for years, right? So
And they
when
should
you
have a moratorium. I don't know if that's the right word, but
yeah.
if you are new to like the city or the state, I don't think you should be able to vote on certain things until you've established residency for at least 3 years.
Okay, I said okay, that's real talk. That's
I
real
mean,
talk.
that's
Because
how the government is. Like, you're not a permanent employee until you've done 3 years.
okay, girl, speak well, Monica. Like I said, this feels like church. I'm gonna have to say, Amen, girl. Let him use you, because that's a good.
You know what
Because
I'm
then,
saying? Because they're
yes.
gonna move. Like, if they're not gonna establish themselves, they're gonna be
Mhm.
gone in less than 3 years.
And we got a lot of transplants that are only here for the job or here for the moment.
Right.
That the price and the all this other stuff is going to run them out anyway. That's
Especially
kind
if
of
they don't have a
nice.
Washington State ID either.
Well, when I tell you, any place I've lived, I've always had a Washington State ID because I'm not of that
Right.
place.
Like, you
I'm
should
of
be,
Washington
yeah,
State.
if you're gonna vote, you have to have a Washington State ID. That
Because
would be the minimum
mm,
requirement, and then you got to be resident for at least 3 years. Yeah, girl. Oh, yeah,
oh, I like that. Oh,
we're
girl,
gonna
I
have
like
to
the
get a bill started.
yeah, so we have to flesh that out because I'm not mad at that. So they were doing the light rail construction, and the road merged. So when you turn on like Henderson to head towards that freeway
Yep.
entrance, that's like
Uh huh.
Orion. Yes, it merged into one lane. Normally it's like a
Right.
2-lane road, but with the
Mm-hmm.
construction and trying to get the light rail, the tracks or whatnot, it became one. So I'm driving, my lane has to merge. This truck behind me, this white guy was acting insane. So he is so mad that I have to merge over. I don't know if he even was going to let me. And at that time, everyone who knows me knows I had Lily at that time. So
Right.
that was my, little first car. So it lets you know how back in the day it was. My little Chevy. I thought I was doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to get in front of him, but we're headed to the freeway. So he maybe has two lights to be behind me before we're at the freeway. But as soon as we get to that light that's closest to the freeway, so then like the next, as soon as the light changes, you're going to cross over and you'll be entering the freeway on ramp to go south on I-5. So anyway, we're at that light. This man gets out of his car, Monica, and runs up to my window at this light and starts banging it on me, calling me all kind of black bees, everything but a child of God. And I'm like, I'm in my early 20s. So I won't even say that I'm 22 yet.
Right.
I'm definitely younger than that. And girl, I was like, I mean, my mouth, I was like shocked. I was also horrified. I didn't know if he was going to break my window because he was, like, I'm like, what? And it's like at a light. He jumps in as the light changes.
Uh-huh.
I try to snap a photo of his like license plate.
Right.
I pull over, I call the police, of course, because of the area it is. They're like, well, we don't know if it's the sheriff or if it's, the Seattle police. So I go up to the southwest or whatever the precinct that's right up there on the top of Beacon Hill. So I just go up there. I'm giving the information I have. I don't think they ever pursued it or did anything. But I was like, man, I said I should have rolled down my window and sprayed him with my car air freshener. I was like, but you know what? I said I don't want to play with someone who's
Bear spray.
crazy enough. Yeah,
Right.
I don't, girl.
Well, the bear
Who get
spray would have knocked his ass out, and he wouldn't even remembered. Like he would have took it forever. You would have been gone.
Girl, but I don't. I At that time I was like, I wasn't rolling with bear spray. I was not expecting people to get out of their vehicle and come up to
The
you,
audacity to come and
especially
touch
not in
my
the
car.
hood, girl. Especially not in the hood.
Right.
Like at some point you feel safe in your community, right? And that's
Right.
what I say the hood. I don't necessarily mean like I guess whatever stereotypical
I
urban
mean,
situation.
let me
I
just
mean the
say, I could call
neighborhood.
my peoples. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, South Seattle, the South Seattle I grew up in,
Right.
working class people, diverse. Like one neighbor could be this, the other neighbor is that. I mean, we all were like, oh, when the whites moved into our block, we were like, oh, that's interesting
But
because
if
we're
you
used to
needed
being
to, if there
Asian,
was a
black.
brother
Yeah,
on the corner and saw that, you can be like, "Hey, can you help me out?" You know what I'm
right, because
saying?
it's community. So that's what I mean by the hood. I don't mean by social economic standards of
Right.
hood, because everybody was working. There was more than everybody I knew either worked at Boeing there or for the government. Like it was a working class neighborhood
But
and
back to
working
the
class
yeah.
community. But so that was additional sidebar. But no, the man, no, he got out, girl, acted full, jumped in his car, sped around me. Because you know how they have that turn lane as well where you could go up to the Skyway Hill. Just sped
Yeah.
around me and jumped on the freeway, and I was like, I was shook. I'm not gonna act like I wasn't. I was young. I was like, wait, I couldn't believe, like, because I didn't think that the traffic merited that. And I will say, the way my father taught me how to drive was to always be considerate. Like he said, your vehicle is a weapon. It's thousands of pounds of steel. I
Right.
don't know what it is, plastic or whatever, but
Tons. Mhm.
thousands of pounds of steel that you are now in control of. He's like, so you don't let your emotions, but I mean, this is what the brother did. So he's like, don't let your emotions, be the thing that causes you to harm someone or for you to be harmed. So I always have it like that's why I always listen to music, or sometimes I talk to people. I commute and I have like conversations. I catch up with my girlfriends that maybe I haven't.
Or you can listen to podcasts
Well,
or
of
audio
our,
books too.
yeah, now we do, but back in the day,
Right.
I call it carpooling. I
Yep.
might call my bestie that lived in Chicago, going to school out there. I call her. We catch up. I call it carpooling. Or I call my cousins that were in different states. I just use the vehicle and the road. I enjoy driving, so I didn't try to look at it as I gotta be anywhere so fast and I gotta be so aggressive and I gotta have my
Well, you know
ego.
what? Now that
So.
I what was not it's I mean it's part of the secret of the four agreements, but years back I learned, like, I mean, if you feel like you're gonna be late, you're gonna be late, so you better
Mhm.
go ahead and affirm that you're gonna be on time, You know what I'm saying? Everything's working out for your highest good. No, seriously, I started changing the weight because you know me going to work in the morning, girl. That was
Girl,
a
I just
whole
accepted the
issue.
fact that I was gonna be late. Girl, I figured
Right,
I'm always gonna make an entrance. I'm
right.
not I'm not a basic person. If it starts at 8 o'clock and you want everyone to be there at 8 o'clock, you need to tell me it starts at 7 because I'm
Well,
gonna make
no,
my
but I'm just
entrance.
saying, like, I mean, just for like work, like, it's just,
Even
it's
work,
like you
girl.
try your best to like get up early, get on time, and then the traffic or to be an accident. But these people that
Hmm.
are like in a rage, and
Mm-mm.
it's hard not to take it personally when you almost like kill me,
Yeah.
you about to kill
Yeah.
me. But they got so much going on, chaos in their mental and like in their life. Because once the guy that was going crazy behind you.
Yeah.
Once he got on the freeway, there's no telling who else. You know what I'm saying? He could have got in an accident and killed some. Like he had
Yeah,
so
and
much
he was in
rage
a
in him.
white work truck. He was in a
Yeah,
white work truck. So he wasn't even like in his own personal vehicle. I'm like, oh,
right.
you represent the company terrible, and I just thought, oh wow, that was so wild. So I guess the moral of that story is people take it easy. Be easy, be easy. Get to where you got to
Calm
get to
down.
alive. Yeah, for real.
Right.
If you're in a rage, if you're having a bad day, that isn't the moment for you to jump in your vehicle and want to take it out on society because everyone
Or
is
on your
going through
scooter.
something. Up, girl, or on your bike. But there's a new Netflix show though called Beef. I do want to mention that real quickly. I've been hearing about it, and it is about road rage. It's about a road rage incident that turns into beef. Literally. So it looks really good. I think it has the guy from Walking Dead, Steven Yeun. I don't know if I'm saying his last name correct. And then, but I heard it's really good, so I'm excited about it. I actually want to watch that, and then hopefully it will make people calm down even more because you
Well,
don't know what kind of nut job these days. And
mm-mm.
sometimes now I will say this: I have had moments where I have felt tested out there on this road, and I have felt like, you want to see a fool? I got a fool for you. But then I'm always had to kind of bring myself back because I'm like, oh no, I don't want the accident. I don't want
No,
the
the
insurance. I
closest
want the drama. I don't want that smoke,
the
really.
closest thing I do now, like when people, probably because I have PTSD from the car accident, so when I see cars coming out like from the side, my sides, and it looks like they about to like just pull out, and then I kind of slow down,
Hmm.
turn my head, look at them crazy with my sunglasses on, and then I keep it moving. That's that's some passive aggressive stuff, but I'm
But that's
working.
all right.
I'm
You
working
do
on it. But
good. I
you
this
know
way.
what they should have, and this would probably skyrocket people's insurance too, but report the road rage to people's insurance.
Nope, I don't like unnecessary snitching because how do you stop people?
I
No,
mean,
for
because if
real.
you get
Because
their
how do you stop
license,
people? No,
the
because everyone would get
road
girl.
rage, they have a website so you can report the road rage and put their license plates in there.
Mm-mm, no, because people might be reporting you because you were going slow, and that made them want to
That's
get in a
true.
rage, and you weren't doing anything. No, I don't. I'm not, and I don't mind community participation. So when I say snitching, I just mean
Well, if
I don't want to
anything,
give people an opportunity to just be getting their rage and their frustration out on people by
well, they
thinking that
need
they're
to have a
telling on
whole
someone.
section for the driver's license renewal, about road rage. And they probably should make it, maybe they should make it mandatory each year that you have to go in and to, make sure that your license stays current. You got to take this thing about road rage.
Girl, no, I live in South. I don't want to have to do that either. I just want people to do better. I'm like, no, I don't want to have to do any of that mess. Okay. I don't want anyone thinking that they're writing down someone's license plate because how do you, that's why I said that becomes, in a way, that's harassment and bullying because someone could just be like, I don't like Monika. I know what her license plate number is. I'm going to say she tried to run me down on I-5.
Well,
Who
I mean, yeah,
investigates
that's
that? That
true.
causes,
Right.
that causes a whole nother. I'm like, please, girl, don't give these people no other excuse to be insane. We talking about how crazy they are now. They need more Jesus in their life. That's what it is. But I remember the time when people used to drive cute. Okay, so like in the neighborhood or in the community between the central district and the south end, the sun is out or it's raining or whatever, but the sun is typically out. People are all at those little local car washes that everyone is getting shot at. And then you clean your car real cute so everybody can see you. And then you take it easy. You cruise. You're not go like, I don't know, maybe it's
Girl,
because
you
when I
can't
was
even cruise.
younger.
You can't cruise no more. I try to cruise down the waterfront in Tacoma and actually like just go the regular speed limit,
Right.
which is like 30. And these people want to go like 35 and 40. I'm like, hold up. First of all, I don't have that entitlement where I can just go the speed I want to go without getting, harassed or
Mm-hmm.
pulled over.
Girl, you better
So
know
I'm
it.
like, you gonna just gonna have to go around me. You know what I'm saying? And get mad. I'm not going above 30.
See, and that's what I miss in the city. Cause I don't know, maybe I will say, I dated a brother that had a Cadillac when I was younger, and caddies like to max
Do
drive
you
lax, so they
wanna
like to go slow
ride in the
in the back
backseat of
seat of
my
my
caddy?
caddy and chop it up. But yeah, of course, very much so. And so we be in the white caddy, and we have to, he have it shining, sparkling, spit shined up there, honey. He put his love into that thing every day. We wasn't going nowhere. I mean, it had a little moonroof, sunroof situation too. We wasn't going, and he didn't have tint on his windows because he wanted you to look in there and see him. Okay, see us
Mess with them if they want to.
writing pretty. Okay. Oh yeah, because he definitely had that firepower on him. But we would never. But he wasn't. He was able to legally carry. He wasn't
Right.
doing nothing illegal. He legally had all his permits and everything. But so he didn't have the motivation to want to take it out and clown. He actually kept it in the trunk. So he
Girl.
so he couldn't actually. So he wouldn't accidentally, like, he's not going to get in a rage and like pull out his gun or nothing. So, but honey, but we drove everywhere at least 5 miles under the speed limit because
Hmm.
everybody, it was we were to be seen. Okay, it was
Right.
like a royal coronation. Like, you see me. We didn't come out here in these matching outfits, because that's how back in the day it was, girl. We didn't come out here in these matching FUBU outfits and stuff like that. These we supposed to see us, okay, honey. You see us in the slack, okay, honey. We got the music playing and we just enjoying it. We posting up, okay. We being
Yeah,
cute out
because
here. People need to take pride in driving again. It's a fun exercise. Stop trying to act like you're on the NASCAR race car scene or something. You're not.
right. Because going back to the Elijah story, not to make about race, but this is what you see. Because if those roles were switched,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying?
Well, I definitely know if it had been Ray Ray, we would have seen Ray Ray's picture without a charge, an
Right.
indictment,
If Ray
without
Ray had shot
nothing.
up the father and the son, yeah,
Yeah.
and they were it was the roles switched. Oh yeah.
Girl, for real. They're talking about they couldn't release his name until they had an official charge. You knew who did it. I said the family knew who
And
did it.
you said he works in tech too.
Oh no, I didn't know. I don't know much about Patrick Cooney.
Oh,
They're not
okay.
putting it out there. I haven't done a deep dive on him because right now everyone is celebrating the life of Elijah,
Right.
but we're just saying that we want justice to be served in Seattle.
Exactly.
Like I said, you want people to do better. You don't want to believe that the stereotypes are real. So when you find a young brother that's defying the stereotypes, that he was a business owner, he had a business, he was doing community work. I mean, and he's 23.
Right.
So, I mean, he
You can
left a
see his
legacy.
right. You can see he was inspired by Nipsey. You know what I'm saying, and probably other community leaders in his area.
Yep, and see, to me, that's the beautiful part. So, yeah, girl, that I mean, that is different. That's like you said, the road is about life or death, right? And you can be out there being crazy and in a highway to hell, or you can be out there appreciating the journey and really celebrating and wanting to get there in one piece with your right mind.
Right.
So I do love that. Okay, so now, girl, so now that we got that out of the way, but the funniest part, girls, when you said them pennies, I said like little missiles, girl. Oh, I love that. We're gonna be
No,
talking now.
they was like pennies from heaven.
You were getting people together. You were teaching them God's lessons.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Monica, with that in mind, then, um, do you have a testimony or something that you are excited about this, Holy Week, Resurrection Sunday, Easter time of the year?
I'm in my right mind.
Girl, all right, I'll take that. That's a testimony right there. Um,
Because if you already know I'm an empath, and just this,
mhm.
everybody's going through something. It's like a tornado, like a whirlwind, and I'm
Yes.
holding capacity, and keeping my family and friends lifted up, but for and trying not to get caught up in that whirlwind or tornado, because
Mhm.
I have my own issues with depression and anxiety. Like
Mhm.
I don't need it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I don't want it,
girl.
so I will
Mm-mm.
get to my place, in my mind, or if I need to go work out, or like I said, I like to sit in silence. I don't need to
Mhm.
be around nobody.
Well, I understand why. Like you said, 'cause you're an empath. You
Like
said you
Keith
got
Sweat
so many
said,
people.
nobody,
Who
nobody,
can love you like me?
nobody. Yes,
Well, girl, and I know you're good to go on a nice walk and get out into nature, and I definitely
yes.
appreciate walking therapy. When I started doing, I was like, oh yeah, that's what this is, because I get to meditate, and I feel like God really communicates with me when I am walking around nature. But now I will be straightforward. I'm not just going on a random hike with creatures and stuff, because I don't like that. But I like organized, so I like a nice, beautiful path. Like that's why I love Seward Park so much, or that's
Hmm.
why I love, people love Green Lake. I like, a nice little bit of organized nature that I can
Right.
get out
It's
there, take a
Chambers
deep
down
breath.
here in
Ex-
Chambers Park down here in
oh
Tacoma.
yeah,
So
Chambers is beautiful. Yeah, there's some great, water bodies to walk around. I guess those are
right.
one of the ones I prefer,
Oh
because
yeah, I
seeing
have
the
to be by
water
water.
is
Yeah.
is just calming to the spirit. So I love that. Um, I would say if I had to give a testimony service, old school, you say first giving honor to God, who is the head of my life, to the pastor, the first ladies, the other saints that are with us this this episode. My testimony is truly, that I have been working on things, and there's been a lot of things going on that we don't cover on the show, because we're about good times, and when we get together, it's usually about decompressing, catching up with what the tea is, talking about, love and life and all the things that are really going on. But my testimony has to be that I am still here, and
Hmm.
that my loved one is still here.
Right.
Okay, so I mean, I'm gonna just, I've been trying to hold it to myself, but there's a song that my ancestors and my people used to sing in church, and it says, I said I wasn't gonna tell nobody, but I couldn't keep it to myself what the Lord has done for me. What I do know for 100% fact is that this February 7th, the enemy would have come against my mother to take her life. And all of the things around me were saying that she was not going to make it. Girl, it is, when the enemy come at you, he don't just come at you with one thing. It's
Hmm.
not just one word. It got to be three or four doctors gathered all around you,
It's a
telling
domino
you,
effect.
telling you she's not gonna make it through the night.
Right.
That it's less than 40, it's less than 30, it's less than 20. And all you can do, people say, why do I love Jesus?
You got it.
I love him because he is my savior. He is my redeemer, because I know that there is healing in what he does, girl. So many people were coming at me, telling me to say goodbye to her, to be done with it. And the only thing I could tell him is, you don't know my mother, and you do not know her God. And it
Right.
was like a mantra. I
You
just
gotta
knew it
speak
in my
life.
spirit. I knew that's, what her voicemail say, girl. The
Hmm.
power of life, and did you call to speak life? It's confused people. It's made them feel whatever kind of way when they hear it. But girl, do you understand? You do understand. You know how many times I had to tell people, girl, you were on the phone with me, we are saying the 23rd Psalms together, because that's my Psalms, and you
Right.
love me, and you came at me with the word that you knew that I knew. And girl, they said she isn't going to make it. I mean, we're the ER, we're the ICU, we're the this and that. And you know what? God will always send you a little hope, a little hope. There was a nurse, Nurse Mandy, honey. Mandy touched,
Confirmation.
girl, she touched my arm. That's all I needed. That's all I needed. She didn't say nothing because these doctors had no bedside manner. You know, like I said, three or four. At one time, I was at a table with six doctors, palliative care, this specialist, that specialist. They're gonna tell me what they think they're gonna tell me. And I said, no, no, no. Once again, I said, I'm a glass half full kind of girl. I
Right.
said, God only requires a mustard seed of faith. That's very small. I said, you do not know my mother. You do not know her faith. You have no idea of her relationship with God. I said, you guys are so jaded and tired of doing your jobs. Because, girl, now when people tell me, I've been doing this for 20 years, 15 years, I said, then you need a break.
The
Because you
years
don't
don't matter.
no, because you don't believe in miracles anymore. You in here looking at people life and death and just saying, I've seen this 1,000 times, so it ain't gonna work out. They told me she wouldn't get through the night. Well, she's still here. And
Right.
are we getting ready to celebrate Easter? And every day she does something that they say, oh well, well, I guess that could happen. It's a small chance. Oh no, she's defining and beating the odds. And people go, well, what was it? What was it? What I will say is this: it's not always the big things that people get, people hear about, oh, it's this or that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's the little things. It's the bacterias. It's the infections. Those things. It's you could be septic. You could be, you could have a new viral situation that they're not talking about yet on the news. It could be anything like that that's small and that could come at you and you don't know, and it have your body in distress, and have your organs fighting. It'll have all your numbers up and down and all around. It'll have everyone scared for you. And in the end, I just have to say, don't buy it. Don't
Right.
buy it. If you are professing Christ in your life as your Lord and Savior, then you hold on to the confession of your faith. And you know that with God, nothing is impossible. Well, man, it's gonna be questionable. I don't really like Tylenol like that because I don't trust men. But I know that
Mm-hmm.
with God, all things are possible. Girl, and like I said, I still have my mama and
Mm-hmm.
she is doing what she needs to do. And that is my
Progress.
exciting Easter.
Progress
Yes,
every
girl.
day.
That's
It's
my
just
exciting
sad to
Easter.
say. It's sad to say, like the with the medical professionals, they lean toward the negative
Sure.
far more than they lean towards the positive.
Positive. No, I have one doctor, and this it wasn't during this particular situation right now, but he said, "Well, you know the creator, right?" Because he had a little cross, and I was like, "Yeah."
Right.
He said, "Well, then you know the real source." He said, "We just trying to do what we can do." He said, "But you know God, that's who's gonna work it out for you." I was like, "Well, come through with that word, sir." I loved
Mm-hmm.
him. He was only our doctor for a short time. I was like,
Right.
"Man, that's the homie right there," because came he came at me the right way. I said, but people don't understand that when the enemy comes at me like a flood, for I know how to buckle down and
Right.
hold tight in God. And
And he
I
gives you
just
the power
appreciate.
within yourself. I mean,
He
like
sure
Mary
does.
said, it's the God in me. Like,
Yeah, yes, that's what the song from Mary said. It's the God in me. But I definitely know God kept us. He had his hand all in that situation. Like I said, they said, well, one day it'll be a blessing. Well, 2 days. Well, now it's a week. Well, okay, now it's 3 weeks. Well, okay, well then you just need to watch. I said, obviously you needed to see a miracle, and my mom is allowing you to see that God is still real. He is still working miracles and saving souls and saving lives and bringing people back, okay, from the brink. Okay,
right,
from the brink. It'd be different. I said, they, no one is saying nothing, but it was good, honey. I said, I felt his love around me when, like I said, we at the table and it's just me, because it was always just gonna be me. I mean,
right.
anyone who knows that story and knows me knows it's me and my mom. We a package deal. Some people have kids, and she had one. She's my package deal. Okay, I mess
Mm-hmm.
with my mama. She's the one that keep me on the scoop. Half the time, people say, "How did you know that information?" My mom. At this point, I say, if you think you like some part of me, you don't even know me. You like my mom and you
Right.
like Jesus, because
And
those are.
and her story's not finished, so
Girl,
she
oh
still
no,
has more
not
to do.
not by a long shot. Because what she
Right.
said she having her her summer get down, okay, on the get down. So I can't wait to report live from the scene because I know when she say she gonna do it, she gonna do it. I said this lady, she be kind and sweet, she keep it real, but she real her tenacity, man. When when it's something that gotta get done, I told them I put my money on my mom and God every day. You
She
know, I'm a
raged. She raged in her faith.
yes, oh yeah. And I'm grateful for that too. That's the testimony. I'm grateful that my mom, see, everybody believes what they want to believe. It because sometimes it's cultural. And for my
Right.
mom, she was raised a Christian, and that was her. That's the foundation that she wanted me to have. Whether what denomination, that's not important. Just
No.
that I knew the truth of Christ. So that I would have him as a resource when life was going to get tough. And as a black woman in the world, she knew that I was going to have some tough days. Okay, so that I
Right.
wouldn't fall apart, she gave me what she knew to be the best thing. Now, she didn't force it on me because you can't force someone to believe in Christ. You can't force someone to be a Christian. I know there are other religions and people may think that, you can make someone believe what they don't believe, and that is not the truth. It has to be something in your heart. But she gave me the foundation, and then it was for me to find and develop my own relationship and get good. But I'm gonna tell you, there were some times, Monika, in my mind during this period that I was so under attack. It wasn't anything.
Overwhelmed.
Oh, girl, nothing but God and His peace. Sometimes He just say, "Girl, go ahead and lay down and get through the night. Tomorrow is another day. You're gonna
Right.
have a different perspective. Tomorrow I'll have the yes. Tomorrow she'll be awake. Tomorrow she'll be conscious.
Well, it
Tomorrow,
says it says do not worry.
yeah, but for real, and that is the hard part because me, my little analytical thinking, I'm gonna be on top of it. Please, girl, I worry my. That's why I said I worry myself into the hospital bed next to hers if if I didn't get it together. But no, no, no. But
And that's
God is
no
good.
bueno. Like
Yep.
you need to take care of yourself. You got to put on your oxygen mask first so then you can
Truly.
actually be fully engaged for her.
Amen. And I said, as believers, you better stay strapped up with that full armor of God. You know what I'm talking about. So get in your
Mhm.
word if you don't. I was glad for every time I had a word. And it just reminded me, at the times that I felt like I've been most successful at my life, and just really enjoying life, my relationship with God has been active. Whether I'm praying for my family and my friends, because see, people don't pray for their friends, but I pray for
Right.
my friends. I pray for those relationships.
Well, it
You
says
know,
you should bless everything. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying?
Yep. And so I definitely try to do that. So anyway, that was my testimony service right there, y'all. I got a little bit emotional, but I try to bring it back. But sometimes like you get overwhelmed when you know all of the things. And like I said, the reels and the testimony and the photos, because I always like a good receipt. Oh, they all coming because
I
I don't
mean,
have time to
girl,
make
you
this
you
up.
can make a documentary. I mean,
Yeah, girl, it's real. I mean, I'm learning lessons. I want people to know these lessons as well when it comes to caring for their elderly, for caring for themselves, for caring for their family, caring for their children, anyone that you care about. If they're going to go into the medical system, girl,
you
there's
got to
some
have an
things you don't
advocate.
know.
Yeah.
Oh, the best thing is to have an advocate. The best thing is to have an advocate. And if you don't have an advocate, then you need to be present. And you definitely need to be taking notes and taking names. You're trying to
Right.
remember because sometimes you'll say, I won't forget this because it'll be so traumatic. But then you'll
Nope.
hear 52 things that will come along and distract you. And you'll be like, okay, wait, what was that? What was that thing I said I'm never going to forget? Because you're getting hit with so many different things.
Right. No, you gotta document everything. Documentation, voice memos,
Voice memos, all of that. Yes, girl.
journaling.
Yeah.
Yes. You know,
It's very important. It's very important. It's very important as well that you can
witnesses.
witness. Yes, but you can trust. But sometimes, like I said, girl, I've had to stand on my own, and I knew that's how it was going
Right.
to be. So it's your witness for me has been the whole. I'm not ever by myself in any situation. But what I would also say is make sure you not only document things but that you're not afraid to question because see sometimes people feel like the doctors are the be all, the know all to be all, and some of these doctors don't have they don't have, what is it, bedside manner. They don't really care about that. They are there for their
These doctors
paycheck
don't
or
have the
their
last word. They act like
no.
they do. They don't have the last word.
There, no, but I was told by a doctor, but this is a more mature doctor now. I don't know what they're teaching them now in medical school, but the more mature doctor said pretty much on day one they taught them, don't let a patient think that they're right and you're wrong. They said no. They said you take your high ground even if you're wrong, and you live with that. Let that be the hill on which you die. And I'm like, dang. And they were like, yeah. So the doctor was like, yeah. So I never, people can't
Nope.
ever
That's why
be
it's more
right.
imperative to listen to your intuition, what you call the Holy Spirit.
Mhm.
If you feel it in your body, in your soul, and
Mhm.
you don't feel like it's right, no. It's a
Yep.
no.
Trust your gut. Get that second opinion. Ask for a
Third
question. Ask
opinion.
for one. Ask for
Yeah.
another test. You. Like you said, let the spirit use you. Let him lead you. Let him use you. So okay. So on that, girl. Now I do have to ask Monica,
Mm-hmm.
because we kind of already in the beginning talked about our little Easter traditions, and I know we loved. I enjoyed when we had a church and we went to it together, because we were discussing that. It's not that you and I would go to church at the same time, be there, sit together necessarily, but I know that by the end of service, I was gonna see you. We would, maybe have brunch or go out to our cars and have like a 30-minute catch up in the
Right.
parking lot. And I appreciate it. That's why my heart was so devastated that our church that we fellowshipped at did not last past the pandemic, that it was sold during the pandemic, because I feel like, I don't there is something about being in the community of believers and getting to worship, but it is not something that's necessary. And I do, I guess, appreciate modern times, because I know that I'll be streaming the service that I want to see on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and having my moments with the Lord, my special moments, really thanking him for the sacrifice, but and the love. But is there anything in particular that you're planning to do this year?
No, I'm being with myself in stillness
Girl, hey man, girl,
and
t- t-
bedside
girl,
Baptist.
girl, honey, hold on. I hope you can hear me clapping. I know you don't normally like me to clap on the podcast because you're like, that sounds funny.
But
But
I'm
I had to
just,
say
I
amen on
mean,
that. Yes,
if
that's my
my
favorite church.
family, if my family does, decide to go somewhere, I mean, I might consider it, but I'm not gonna say like I'm actually going, go along with it. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Because if I feel
Yeah.
like I need to be with myself, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Well, I love it. Okay. So then, is there a community business for the week that we've been looking at or that we're interested in?
I'm just gonna have to shout out, and it's not in the community, but no,
Okay.
she used to reside up here. There
Okay.
is a business called Gemini Fly.
Okay.
She is an artist, a creator. I met her years ago at a natural hair meetup event. Ginger, she makes the just most exquisite, like collectible jewelry, earrings, rings, necklaces, and now she does digital art.
Mm.
And your girl Monica actually won a digital
Hey.
art
Woo.
on this
Okay.
Good Friday. So I'm gonna shout her out. She's just the sweetest. And so, but
And you
if you
got some
need,
fly pieces. You got some fly pieces from her
yeah,
too.
and she also does custom jewelry pieces too. So I will,
Hmm.
link her website and her IG page. But yes, Gemini Fly.
I love it. Oh, well, that's funny because I said fly pieces. Yes, you got great pieces from her, and yes, support minority business any way you can. So we love it. I do feel like there was one other thing I was going to ask you about, but we have to give the people something to look forward to next week. Next week we will be back to our normal shenanigans. And
Hmm.
oh, honey, the relationship pot for the spring is really starting to bubble. So we will have lots to cover and to discuss. But is there anything that I'm forgetting, Monica?
No.
Well, everyone stay safe and calm out there and be blessed. Have a good
Peace.
week.
Peace.
Monica, where can they find us again?
They can find us on Anchor, Spotify, and now iTunes.
Mm.
And please like, share, subscribe.
and leave us a comment. You can shoot us an email or a voice message if you'd like. And with all that, love and gratitude.
Remember to call your aunties or your girlfriends and say hi. Bye.